Good morning, grade 7s. Today we are going to be working on 9.4, subtracting integers. The focus after this lesson is that you will be able to use addition to subtract integers, which is very much similar to our last lesson, but this time we're going to use number lines and look at some more problem-solving type questions. If you have any questions, our Google Meets are now going to be optional, and they're going to be used as a time for you to ask questions that you may have on any of the work assigned throughout the week. So please feel free to pop in at any time during your office hours to ask me questions. During our next Google Meet for 7.4s, that'll be on Thursday, and 7.1s on Friday, we are going to do a scavenger hunt. So if you want to participate and if you are interested to hear more about that, tune in to your next Google Meet. So Thursday for 7.4, Friday for 7.1. All right, we're going to jump right in. Example 1, use addition to subtract integers. This should be familiar from last video. Subtract -2 minus -5. So when we subtract, it's equivalent to adding the opposite. So instead of subtracting -5, we're going to add the opposite, which is +5. And then we can use a number line to add, which we learned last lesson. So starting at 0 always, we're showing our -2. And from our -2, we're going to add +5. And that leaves us with +3. So the sum is of -2 plus +5 is +3. So the difference of our original is -2 minus -5 equals +3. Okay, convert the following to addition statements and then solve. So here, I want you to pause the video, give these ones a shot on your own, and then press play and continue on. Okay, so here we have +4 minus +5. So we're going to add the opposite. The opposite of +5 is -5. Here we have -6 minus, excuse me, -3. The opposite of minus -3 is add +3. -9 minus -8. Opposite of minus -8 is add +8. And the last one, +9 minus +4, opposite of subtract positive is adding a negative. And then we have our answers here. +4 plus -5, well, that's going to be -1. Then we have -6 plus 3. That's going to give us -3. -9 plus 8, different teams. The negative's got to be is bigger, so it has to be a negative, and then we find the difference. And +9 plus -4, it's got to be +5. All right. Calculate and explain a difference. The elevation of a lake is the height of its surface from sea level. The elevation of the Caspian Sea is 28 meters below sea level. The elevation of Lake Winnipeg is 217 meters above sea level. Calculate and explain the difference between these elevations. So right away, we're going to highlight some key information. So the elevation of the Caspian Sea is 28 meters below sea level. So that's going to give us, if it's below, -28. The elevation of Lake Winnipeg is 217 meters above. So that's going to give us +217. Calculate and explain the difference between these elevations. So I have the solution here. we're going to subtract the elevation of the Caspian Sea from the elevation of Lake Winnipeg. So we have positive 217 minus the elevation of the Caspian Sea, which is negative 28. From there, we're going to add the opposite. So the opposite of subtract negative 28 is add positive 28. And that gives us positive 245. So the surface of Lake Winnipeg is 245 meters higher than the surface of the Caspian Sea. And we can show that using a number line here. So we have a number line. They've drawn a vertical number line because we're dealing with elevation. It would also work using a horizontal number line, but this just kind of makes a little bit more sense logically. And so we started at 0, showed our positive 217, and we showed our addition, the adding the opposite, which is adding plus 28. Just a note, which we've talked about before, it is easier to model the addition on a number line than to use so many integer chips. So when you're dealing with big numbers, you don't want to be stuck drawing integer chips forever. So we use number lines and we find a good number to go up by or down by, so that we can save some time, and it just is easier that way. Okay, key ideas from this lesson. You can subtract an integer by adding the opposite. You can represent integer subtraction by adding the opposite on a vertical or horizontal number line. So communicate the ideas. I want you to give these 2 questions a shot. So pause the video and then you can press play when you're done. Mariko drew this diagram to show positive 2 minus negative 3. Explain her thinking. So here, Mariko has shown positive 2 plus positive 3. Well, if we were to change this subtraction into an addition by adding the opposite, we start with positive 2, and we're going to add the opposite. So that's what Mariko showed right there. Tom said that he could evaluate negative 3 minus negative 4 by representing positive 3 plus negative 4 on a number line. Was Tom's thinking correct? Explain. Well, looking at this right away. Answer, in short, no. Why? Because you start with your original, and then if we added the opposite, which is positive 4, that's going to give us positive 1 as our answer. Over here, we have positive 3 plus negative 4. That's going to give us negative 1. So no, you cannot show it using that way. Tom was incorrect. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. These are the practice questions that I want you to do, page 33 to 333 to 335, 5 to 9, and 14. You have until Thursday at 3 p.m. to finish these questions and turn them into me on Google Classroom. The next couple slides are just a challenge question and some more information, so keep tuning in to check those out. So here, challenge question. Cheryl is trading hockey cards with friends at school to try to improve her collection. She starts with 68 cards and makes the following trades. Represent her trading activities as a sum of the integers. How many cards does she have at the end of the trading? So if you want to give this a shot, pause the video, give it a try, and then play if you want to see the solution. Okay, so the solution to this is the amount of change. We start off trade number 1. She gives away 3, so that's shown right there. Then she collects 2. So we're going to put that in brackets because that's all together for trade 1. So I'll just write that here. Trade 1 is right there. Then trade 2, she gives away 1 and collects 3. Trade 2. Trade 3, gives away 2, so subtract 2, and she collects 6. And so on. And these are all in brackets because they are together. Trade 4, she gives away 6 and collects 4. Trade 5, gives away 8, collects 4. Trade 6, gives away 4, so subtracts 4, and collects 4. And then trade 7, gives away 5, and adds 7. So then we're going to solve those step by step. Because they're in brackets, we're thinking about bed mass. -3 plus 2 is -1. Then next, we're going to add what's in the brackets here. -1 plus 3 is 2. Then we're going to add what's in the brackets here. -2 plus 4, plus 6 is 4. Then we're going to add -6 plus 4, which is -2. Add -8 plus 4, which is -4. -4 plus 4 is 0. And -5 plus 7 is 2. Then we can add all of these together, and that will give us +1. So the number of cards that she has at the end of her trading is 68 plus 1. She has 69 cards. Last thing, what are the characteristics of subtracting integers? Characteristic number 1, integers are closed under the operation of subtraction. For example, the difference of any two integers is always another integer. When you subtract 0 from an integer, the answer is always the original integer. Any subtraction number sentence can be written as an equivalent addition number sentence, which we've done all today. The difference of two integers may be greater than, less than, or equal to either of the integers that are subtracted. So examples of that: +5 minus -2 is equal to +7. -8 minus +2 is equal to -10. -6 minus -3 is equal to -3, and so on. So that's it for today's lesson. These are the questions that I want you to do. You have until Thursday, 3 p.m. to turn those in. Thanks. Have a good day.